the new marketing for your small business podcast. Delivering the latest opportunities in marketing to help your small business grow and prosper in a digital world.
Welcome to the New Marketing for Your Small Business podcast. I'm your host, Luke Porter, the owner of Moving Tree Media. And this is the podcast where we share actionable marketing items that you can take today and use them to help your small business. And we're actually trying something new. We are doing shorter episodes now that focus on one topic, making it real easy for you to just take the advice and run with it. And today we're focusing on your LinkedIn profile. So whether you are new to LinkedIn or just looking to up your LinkedIn game, this is the episode for you to help you make the most out of that profile. Let's get started. So just real quick, why should you be on LinkedIn? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. Basically, it is the business social network, and ever since the pandemic, it has experienced explosive growth. It's one of the best platforms for your organic content to get a lot of reach. Just as an example, one of my videos from a couple weeks back got 250,000 views on LinkedIn out of nowhere. So if you keep putting out content, you never know what's going to take off. I've covered some algorithm changes recently, so you can check out some of my other videos for that. But I want to start things off for today's topic by looking at your profile image. So your profile picture, that's almost always the very first thing that people see on your LinkedIn when they're searching for you, or when they see your stuff in their feed, or when you are recommended to them. So this is something that's important to get right. Generally, you want a professional looking headshot, but it should reflect your industry. So if you are in a more formal field, if you are a lawyer, if you are a financial advisor, maybe think about a suit and tie, unless that doesn't jive with your brand. But for more creative industries, and depending on how you want to present yourself, a more casual attire might be fine. The important thing is that your face is visible, that it's well lit, that your background isn't too distracting. It's not like a crowd shot where your face is just there in a crowd. Oftentimes a smile can help a lot. A smile can make you appear like someone who's a friendly person to do business with, make you appear approachable. So that's something to think about. I would advise against using the new AI-generated headshots. Personally, I can spot them from a mile away. I've talked to some other people that also are just a little bit unnerved by them. You might have heard the expression uncanny valley from the film industry, where things aren't quite human and it's unnerving. And that's how I kind of feel about those AI-generated headshots. So personally, I'd advise you to stay away from those. If you're not good at taking selfies of yourself to use for a headshot, ask a friend or a family member. Outside light is nice, good natural lighting. Go outside by a cool wall or by a nice tree, take some pictures there, see what you like. Just kind of remember that this image is oftentimes at first impression, so make it count. Next up is your header image. So when people go to your LinkedIn profile, they'll see your small profile image, and then they'll see the big, long header image on top of that, similar to how Facebook does it. So this is another great opportunity to kind of convey what your brand is all about or what you're all about. LinkedIn profiles in general tend to be very text heavy. So this is one of those few opportunities you have to get something visual on your profile. If you've got a company name and logo, you can work it into that header image, but I would advise against the entire header image being your logo or your tagline. It should be something that's more visually interesting than that. They've done some studies with this, and people on LinkedIn are definitely more attracted to those header images that kind of convey the feel of your brand, like something out in nature, or if you are like an acupuncturist, something calming like rocks stacked up on the beach. Or if you are in finance, something that can represent wealth or status or freedom. Things like that, as opposed to just the logo taking up that entire spot. The real goal is to make your profile visually appealing and also convey a little bit more about you and your brand. Now let's move on to the About section. This is some space you get to write about yourself, and a lot of people tend to treat this as like the summary at the top of their resumes. And that's not, it's not the worst thing in the world, but there's better ways to approach this. I recommend that people write this from the perspective of their clients. So think about what your clients' needs and challenges and what their pain points are, and then write the paragraph about how you can help them and what solutions that you offer. You can highlight your skills, you can highlight your experiences, you can use some specific examples and achievements and all that. Just don't make this only a resume. This should give a little bit of clue about your personality. It should connect with the person reading it. It can show them how you can add value to their business. And the last thing I'll say about this section is it's good to end it with a call to action. This is one of those places where people might actually take an action. They go to see who you are, they look at your picture, they see where you went to school, they read this section, and oftentimes this might be the deciding factor on if they are going to connect with you or not. So put that call to action at the end of this paragraph and invite these potential clients to connect with you or to reach out with you for a consultation or a collaboration. Oftentimes, if you don't ask someone to take the next step, they won't do it. And finally, let's talk about the featured section on your LinkedIn profile. This is another one of those opportunities to put a little bit of visual flair into what is otherwise a wall of text. So the featured section, if you don't already have it on your profile, you just go to your profile page. There's a little drop-down menu under your header image. You can add a featured section. And to this section, you can add posts that you've already made, articles you've already written. You can add links to other items on LinkedIn. Generally, I advise people to keep this just to their posts. From a visual perspective, articles don't look as good in this section as just posts. And if you don't even know the difference between a LinkedIn post and an article, don't even worry about what I just said. So when you go to add some featured posts, it's going to come up with a list of all your recent posts, and you'll see a thumbnail image or a thumbnail of the video if it was a video post. And I would recommend just going through that list and finding those items that would add the most value to people. The items that people would actually want to read, want to share, and most importantly for this purpose, make them want to connect with you. I tell people put a minimum of 3 items in this, just because when you're looking at LinkedIn on a desktop, the featured section shows the most recent 3 items that you added. But you can certainly add a lot more than 3. I tell my clients shoot for 5 to 10 items for their featured section. And then don't just, set it and forget it. This section should be updated regularly as you're adding new content that you're really proud of. Take the time to go and add those pieces of content to your featured section. Think of it kind of like a portfolio. This gives visitors to your profiles this quick snapshot of who you are, what you post about, and oftentimes it's the deciding factor on whether or not they're going to connect with you. So to recap, a strong LinkedIn profile. It starts with a great profile image and a header image that complements it. Those 2 things should be visually reflective of who you are and what your brand is all about. And then your about section should be focused on your clients, how you solve their problems, how you can help them, and what makes you stand out, and put a call to action at the end of it. And then the featured section, think of that as your digital portfolio on LinkedIn, showcasing your most valuable work from the perspective of your clients, of what gives them the most value. Those items all work together to make your LinkedIn presence stand out. And we'll get into more LinkedIn topics in the future about how having this great profile can help you connect with more people and get more business. But stay tuned for that in future episodes. I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of the New Marketing for Your Small Business. If you found these tips helpful, please subscribe, share this podcast with other small business owners, leave a comment, check out our Facebook group. And until next time, keep innovating and keep thriving.